Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video tutorial, we will be doing some brushwork exercises so that you can get used to the various shapes of brushes that you may have about at home. But before we dive on in, it would be amazing if you could please like this video and share it with a creative friend of yours. I share tutorials on here currently monthly, so if you would like to be alerted as to when I'm sharing a new video, make sure you hit the subscribe button just down underneath my face right here. All right, let's get started. So I prepared this recently for you. So this one, we're going to be experimenting with a flat brush to make a long stroke, a couple of short strokes. We'll experiment with pressing them lightly and then pressing them heavily down onto the page. We're also going to practice a couple of casual botanical elements. This is a filbert brush. And then this one is a round brush. Round brushes I find particularly amazing for leaf motifs. This is an angled brush, not my favorite, but it's great for cutting in. So we'll be using it today to cut in a little bit on the background. All right, so this one is first. So if you have a flat brush, go and grab that one. And I'll pop this aside and get some spare paper. And we're just going to experiment with our flat brush marks. Popping your brush in the water, just always look after your brushes. Don't leave them in the paint for too long. And we're going to mix it up a little bit. So I will use a yellow, maybe I'll make a bit of an orangey color today. So we need yellow, a little bit of red in there. You can put a bit of white in there if you like. Dip your brush in the water if you want to sort of make it flow a little bit more. And we're going to do a long stroke with our flat brush. And we might do some shorter strokes downwards, shorter strokes sidewards. And we can also try to paint with the tip of our brush. And we can also experiment a little bit with dry brushing. So don't put too much paint onto your brush and just pull it along and just see how the look that you get with the dry brush. Another fun one is to start with the tip, go across, press down, and then slowly bring it up. It's almost like a leaf motif. On which note, we will try that one next. So we're going to get our leaf shape. So we'll start light, press down and pull up. And again, light, press down, pull up. Light, press down, pull up. And then you can use the top edge to paint in a stem. Okay, so that's one way to make some beautiful leaf motifs. You can also do it in a bit more of a heavy-handed way. So you can grab your paintbrush and press it down at the top, but press down really hard. And then get the sort of stem going. So top and then press down hard, get the stem, top, press down hard, get the stem. So we've got two different botanical motifs that we can make just with a flat brush. Okay, that a flat brush is probably the most basic brush. I'm pretty sure you'll all have that. Again, you can also do the same sort of a thing with a small flat brush. Just looking for mine wherever it's gone. Here we go. This one is, so this is a flat brush, but it's, you see how it's really short. They often get called bright brushes, so it's still flat, but you know. And you can use these brushes to create beautiful little flowers without being too, what's the word? Too calculated. So we've got some beautiful little flowers, and we can add details to those, but we won't do that now. We're just keeping it casual, just a little bit of brushwork practice. So our next one is my favorite, the filbert. So if you can get another spare piece of paper, And we'll practice some filbert brushwork, and then we can apply that to our canvas as well, our bigger artwork. Okay, so a filbert is an awesome brush. We're going to do a rose with it. We're going to do some smaller flowers, and we're also going to do some really cool botanical blobs, I call them. So filbert, remember, is the one that has a bit of a curve to it. I'm just washing my brush. Okay, I'm going to use some blue on this one, and I think I'll add a bit of white to the mix. You can choose your own colors. Okay, I've got so much paint, so much paint on this brush. It's like hyper loaded. Alrighty, so we're going to go across a long stroke, and mine's turning into dry brushing. That's fine. Now we'll do a shorter stroke, some strokes down, perhaps some teeny tiny little ones. We can try to do the top as well, the thin edge. And again, but we do the top and then press down, up, up. You can create a double one. Some people call these ones tadpoles, where you press hard first and then lift up. Hard first and then lift up. So next we'll do our little flowers. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiny little blobby petals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we'll do a rose, and we're going to do some little blobby leaves, which I love. Okay, these are heaps of fun. So grab your loaded filbert brush, drop it down, whoop, like this, and then as you pick it up, twist and go lightly. These are really fun. Try it again. Twist and go lightly. Twist and go lightly. And to paint a rose, we're going to do a blue rose today. Really casually, you just want to build in layers. And we're going to be doing this in our bigger piece, so it's good to get some practice. Just always bringing your brush around with the shape, so don't fight it. And getting a bit of variety of colour in there. Quite like this blue rose arrangement. There we go. So just to give an idea of how awesome this filbert brush is. Now, I have so much paint on this brush, you might have the same experience. So you want to try to brush out as much as you can onto your palette, or maybe even onto a paper towel or something, and then pop it in your water. Otherwise, you're going to end up with very messy water. And also you're putting more paint into the waterways, okay? So just a little bit of a consideration when it comes to working with your paints. It's already time to use the next one. So the next one we're going to be using is an angled brush, I think, and then we'll do a round brush. If you don't have any of these, just keep on going with some other ones, practice some different botanical motifs, just warming up your wrist so that you're ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to pop this one aside and we're going to try our next. So our next one I said was an angled brush, I think. Not my favorite. Poor angled brush. It feels rejected, I'm sure. I keep on saying it's not my favorite. Okay, I'm going to pick up that coral color, just getting a little bit of water in there. If your palette is drying a bit, a good handy tip is to have one of these little spray bottles around, just with water in there, and you can occasionally just spray your palette and it keeps your paints active. All right, so an angled brush, we'll do the same, long across, short, 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 short. We can go down. Don't feel like you have to copy me exactly. They're just experiments. You can try a dry brushing one, although I think mine's pretty loaded. And we can do our top edge of our brush. That's quite fun. That's a lot easier. You'll notice it's a lot easier with an angled brush to get that fine line rather than the other brushes, any of the other ones actually. And we can do the same one, so light and then heavy and light, light, heavy and light. And what we're going to be using this one for today is cutting in. So I want you to imagine painting a background around a flower shape or around other shapes, okay? So you want your pointy side facing up, the pointy side of your brush, and practice some scallops like this. Or you can even practice painting around some pretend leaves or petals. It's quite a handy brush when it comes to detail like that. And also when you're painting like this around shapes and you're painting the background, the stroke that you use does matter. So as long as it's not, you know, an underpainting or anything like that, it does matter. So you should be stroking a little bit with the direction of the motif, okay? So do pay attention to how you're even filling in spaces like that. Alrighty, one more brush. We're going to do a round brush. So if you have a round brush, which most people should do, because a round brush is also one of the most common ones. This is the one, remember, where the cross section is a circle at the top. We can use that one for our next activity. So just wet your brush, just helps the bristles to stay together. And I'm not sure, we're just going to paint, I'll paint a little bit of, just thinking of colors. We haven't got a purple going yet. Let's get a purple going. So purple is obviously your blue and your red. Okay, so we've got our paintbrush ready, our round brush. We're going to do the same sort of thing, okay? So we're going to start to paint along here. It's almost an indigo color. Again, some short ones. We'll do some from the top. Teeny tiny ones. I just wanted to share some praise for old brushes. So this brush I've had for a very long time, and it's a little bit ratty at the top, but I love it because it's making these marks here that I could not make without, I could hardly even plan them, right? So they're just so beautiful and add so much interest. So don't underestimate the power of an older brush, okay? They're pretty, I don't know, they can really make the difference with your artwork. Okay, so we're going to go lightly, we'll try to do a light line. It's a lot harder with a round brush. And then we'll do our leaf. So the leaf is the same as before. We go light, we press down, and then we go light. This one we will use in our painting today. So let's practice this. It's quite tricky. Most of my students find it hard at first, so it's worth having a little practice. So we're going to go again, light, press down, and light. You can twist your brush if you want to go a little bit wild. So light, press down, twist a little bit, and it just makes it a little bit more free-spirited, I suppose. And we can try to join them up so they have a stem coming down as well. So that's a popular motif. I use that quite a bit in my teaching. And then you can also create flowers with the same sort of thing, same sort of vibe. So you can go out like from the tips of your petals and go in, or you can go the other way. So I'll try from the tips. So we'll go tip of our petal, press down, bring it in again. Makes me think of echinacea flowers, or what's the other one I'm trying to think of? The flannel flower. It won't be perfect, but close enough. And then you can go and paint the top section as well. I feel like I want a yellow. So grab a yellow. And that's just like a little echinacea style flower motif. We might not use that today, but just to demonstrate that you can use round brushes to create quite beautiful petals.